Players Ball podcast for AT Aliens by AT Aliens. I am your host, Alex the Great. I'm joined by my brother from another co-host of the year, the century, MB, the man to be. It's been a little bit, man. With some trips and some youth baseball games. Missed out a little bit on the last 2 weeks, man, but we keep the people wanting more. How'd you feel about the time off, man? You still got it?
Yeah, man, it was weird. Kind of got into the rhythm, the routine of doing this every week at a very specific time. So it was a little weird. It was kind of nice to have the extra time with the family.
Yeah.
But if you ain't grinding, what are you doing with your life?
Back like
So
we never left on that grind. I hear it.
yeah, it's funny in the intro you said something about youth baseball. I was like, wait a minute, is Grayson playing baseball? And then I completely had to remind myself that you went out, had to support the homies and their little men doing their
Yeah,
thing. So I told you if he hit a home run, he could be the first guest appearance. So are we gonna have a guest anytime soon?
he didn't hold a home run. He did end up winning the championship. That's Cam. Cam's team won the championship. Caden's team won their first playoff game. But they were playing the other Norcross team coming up. They were playing them yesterday. I haven't talked to Dion today to see if they won, but single elimination. So hopefully he's still in it. Maybe we host both the Bowman boys, man.
Get them before they blow up.
Yeah. Before they got, they don't have time for us type situation. Yeah, that would be dope. Actually, we should do a little segment with them. I think that would be really cool. They'd love it. Get some child followers. Pause.
That
Yeah. But with us having been gone for so long, and we got a lot going in Spaghetti Junction, a lot of news that you can use on the highways around the town. So let's jump right into it, man.
We got traffic incoming covering all the biggest news in ATL sports, no matter the lane, no matter the highway. Let's get into it with Spaghetti Junction.
UGA, and you gave me this news. They had a recommittal of a quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Tell me about that before I get into my question.
Yeah, so his name's Jared Curtis. He comes to us out of Nashville Christian. So just a little, neighbor to the north. It's kind of interesting. I always find to get kids out of Tennessee, being that there is a heated rivalry between their state school and ours. But yes, a recommittal 5-star, big kid, 6'3.5",
Mm.
225 pounds. Looks
No, he
like
my size. Healthy boy.
yeah, on some fantasy land,
Oh, those,
alternate
those
universe.
have been my numbers before. I probably just don't look like bro. So
Either way, he's got a cannon of an arm. Is a bulldozer, very athletic. He's, depending on where you look, rated as the number one quarterback in the country coming out of next year's class. So huge get for UGA. He is the second highest graded quarterback prospect in UGA history, second
who was
to
over him?
Justin Fields.
Okay.
But a lot of his player comparisons are Matthew Stafford. And if you watch his tape, he definitely has some Matthew Stafford in him, gunslinger, making throws kind of off platform, just, gets in the moment and kind of can improvise, you know, make plays. So excited to see him recommit to the Dogs. Now, yesterday there was another announcement from another 5-star, the number one player in the country. Um, can't remember his first name at the moment, but Cantwell is the last name. Kid out of Missouri, I believe. And he was choosing between the Dogs, Oregon, and Miami. He decided to go with the U. I know you're happy about that.
Uh, no, man, that was Gravy on Alexander's team, man. I gotta rock with Georgia State or them dogs. I do like the University of Miami. Like I wanted to go there. Their tuition was a little high, for me coming out of state. But I want to circle back. What is that? Two questions. First thing you said is Tennessee. I heard, I don't remember where, but I want to get your thoughts on it. They say that team out of Knoxville, UT, is the sports team in Tennessee, right? Like it's not the Titans, it's not the Pred, although they are approaching. If you're from Tennessee and you're a homer, you're a Vols fan. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and unfortunately, through marriage, I'm related to a few Vols.
House divided.
Yeah, house divided. My sister is a UGA alum, and her husband is a Tennessee Vol alum. So very interesting there. But they're diehard. They're probably one of the most obnoxious fan bases in all of the country, because they're that devoted, right? Like, and I say obnoxious as kind of a slight, being a Dogs fan, but it's also a compliment
Yeah,
in that
passionate. You could say it
they're
as another way, right?
they're extremely passionate and they do run the state.
You gotta be passionate to put on those orange and white checkerboard overalls, man. That's probably one of the ugliest outfits outside of the. I guess the Packers. It feels like they kind of try to jack their swag a little bit with their striped green and yellow overalls. But I saw that at Tennessee first, so Tennessee did it first. Get your own swag, Packers. The other question: what does that mean? The recommittal. What's that mean for my man Gunner? He was supposed to be the man around this part.
So Jared Curtis is currently a junior, so he'll be starting his senior year in this upcoming semester. So he still has a full senior year of play, and then he'll enter college next spring. He'll probably be an early enrollee. Most high prospects are, so he won't he won't hit UJ campus until March next year, February of next year, maybe January. They do uh officially hit campus for um bowl practices. But
Hmm.
they don't have their first like true, you know, spring until spring football, which is generally around March, April. So
Gotcha.
so
So
for
Gunner will get a full year at least.
Gunner will get a full year. What will be interesting is to see what it means for Ryan Puglisi, who a lot of people really are split on whether or not Puglisi or Gunner Stockton should be the starter this coming season, because um, Ryan will be a sophomore this year, and he's shown out. Apparently, he's supremely talented. Uh, very high expectations on what he'll be
Mm.
for this team. And unfortunately, we're in an era of college football that where you commit doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Even if you attend that school, it doesn't necessarily mean a lot, because the number of players that transfer is high, and so a lot of the naysayers, the UGA haters, uh, already in the comments, saying, "Well, he'll never play a snap for UGA," but we'll see. He looks the
Mm.
real deal. Like it really looks like it's gonna be hard not to play him. Although I know Kirby does tend to really value experience and development time. So starting as a freshman quarterback at UGA is extremely rare. The only time that's happened in recent history is Jake Fromm, and it was due to injury, right? It was forced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he never relinquished that role once he got it. Took him to a national championship, but outside of that, Justin Fields didn't do it. Um, None of the other really top prospects have done it. I think Aaron Murray was probably the last, and you're talking about over a decade ago. So
Longer than that. Because Aaron Murray was QBing when we were still in high school, right? We talked about it a little bit before. We're coming up on a dub next year, 20-year reunion. That's gonna be crazy.
I think Aaron Murray was like maybe towards the end of our high school career. He was definitely QB while we were in college,
Hmm.
but that
Okay.
that could have been the end of like the junior senior year for Aaron,
Gotcha.
who still
All right.
owns a lot of records for quarterbacks in the SEC. So shout out Aaron Murray.
Shout out Aaron Murray, man. All right, we're gonna jump to another highway, and we'll talk about this a bit later in elevators because I'm upset about it. But Atlanta United, I said that they're in a slump, but they've already scored more points in 2 games in May than they did all of April. So it's just continued badness. Have you been paying attention to United or no?
I have. I know they're playing tonight. And like I didn't realize when the game was this past weekend, so I didn't catch the game. But I did catch the scores. Saw we did end in a draw,
Mhm.
which is a better result. I know there's a lot of chatter that it's just unacceptable, especially with the amount of investment that was
Yeah,
put into this team. I've had the thoughts. This is twice now, two different occasions where we fired our manager midseason. Valentino took over the team, was able to get some results, and then they passed him up for the manager position. And I feel like there may be some karma or some ill fate, maybe poking its head. And who knows if this thing doesn't right its ship, Ronnie Dyla may not make it a full season as the head coach, and we may see Rob Valentino a third time. And if the results are anything like the first two, dude, give the man the job.
is he on? He's on staff still.
I believe so. I think he's like a player development coach. Um, I think he works with the main club, but also Atlanta United too. You can fact check that. Uh,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure he's still with the club.
Yeah. Well, they're in second to last in the MLS. It don't look good, and especially with all the excitement, like they had you spend a little change, man. Got your subscription, and it does not has not been what we expected.
Yeet. No, it has not.
All right. Well, since we're gonna talk about them a little later, I'm gonna move on. The Braves are the Braves back? I think you said the Braves are back last time we talked.
I have not said those words, and I will not say those words. I'm not about to end their swagger, but they are definitely on the climb, right? And that's what I've been saying for the last couple episodes. Is they dug themselves a huge trench to get out of, right? I heard it on the radio this morning. 18 games into the season, they were 8 games below 500. They were sitting at 13-5.
Mm.
And today, going in today's game, they sit at 21-21 at 500 for the first time this year.
Yeah, and that is I would say that's on the come, right? To start 0-7 and have all these talking heads, us included, saying that they won't make the playoffs. Well, me, me saying they won't make the playoffs because no team ever has. They've turned around a good bit. They're still losing games that they shouldn't lose, and my man is just proving my point. Almost every opportunity he gets, Raciel Iglesias needs to be fired.
So I think it was Monday night. He's pitching, and we have the lead in the ninth, and we've just come across a run of games where I think we played like 5 extra inning games in a very short period. Like every single game was a nail biter, coming down to either a walk off or winning it in extras. We have the lead. Brycel's got 2 outs, and he gets a ground ball, and Nick Allen throws his first throwing error or error period of the season to allow Washington to tie the game.
Hmm.
Luckily, we end up winning it in the ninth, so we didn't have to go to extras. But the whole time I'm sitting there watching him pitch, I'm like, my boy Marcus, he's over there
He's
fuming.
gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things, right? We have made it back to 500, and we've surpassed the Nationals, but losing 2 games to one of the worst teams in the league is not acceptable. We lost one to the Pirates, the absolute worst team. We did not sweep them.
The
They won that
Rockies,
last. Yeah, they won that last game. So it's just stuff like that, man. You're not gonna sweep everybody, but
we lost.
if you got the opportunity to win the games, you got to win more than you lose.
We lost 2 to the Pirates, which
Yeah.
is not a good look, but you know, you're
Did
good.
we even face the flamethrower?
Paul Skeens?
Yeah.
I don't remember. But yeah, we shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have lost 2 games to the Pirates. Honestly, both those games were winnable. We lost by 1 run for each. We lost by 1 run against Cincinnati. And then the one that to me is inexcusable is dropping one to Colorado and letting them end their like 24 game losing streak or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's kind of baseball, right? Like that's why they play 162 games. On any given night,
Hmm.
anything can happen.
If you're a mid-tier team, sure. Not for the Braves. We have higher standards than that.
We do, but I think even the Phillies and I don't know about the Dodgers, but I think they've dropped some games that they should win. Not that I'm excusing that because we definitely shouldn't lose, but like the Dodgers got blown out yesterday by the Athletics. Now the Athletics are above 500, but they lost 11-1. Right? Like they got blown out.
Yeah, a lot of Braves prospects over there too, man. So the baby Braves gonna get a win every once in a while.
But yeah, you don't like to see it. It shouldn't happen, but occasionally, it's gonna happen. As long as we
Yeah.
keep winning series, right? Like that's what we need. Right? Win 2 out of 3, win 3 out of 4. Keep that up, and we should be in a good position by the end of the year.
Yeah, I can see us still, making a little bit of noise, but and we're way better off than we were. So I won't even continue to be a Debbie Downer. Just come on, get on the good foot, stay on the good foot. Let's not trick off these these games like this.
Yeah.
There is exciting news though. Like there were two our two of our arguably our two biggest pieces um are on the way back, man. I saw the clip that I saw of Spencer Strider was him like taking first base on a grounder to get thrown for somebody to throw out first. So he had a simulated game. That's good to see. That means he's got to be pretty close.
Yeah, and
And then go
I think
ahead.
it was a hamstring or a quad injury for him. So
Hmm.
him being out there running is important, right? Like that's
Yeah,
a big part of that rehab process. And then the other big news,
Mr. Acuna. Not only did he go long in his game down in Florida, he's actually playing in Gwinnett tomorrow.
yeah,
That'd be nice to get to, man.
I was surprised that he's basically going from a rookie ball game, which I mean, it's nice to see Ronnie go yard. And what's fun is you see him hit it and he does his like normal Ronnie, like shrug the shoulder, bat flip, right? Like
Yeah.
all the Ronnie swag that we love and endear so much. He's doing that in rookie ball against a bunch
That
of
rookie pitcher will tell that story too. Like around Thanksgiving, like, hey man, you're not gonna believe who homered off of me,
yeah, yeah. Ronnie pimped that thing. But yeah, no, it's nice to see him doing what I feel like he should do at that level, right?
Hmm.
But for him to just jump straight from rookie ball, skip single A, skip double A, go straight to Gwinnett, that's promising. That means they feel pretty good about where he's at physically. So
And that, I mean, that's like when was that Florida game was what, yesterday?
yeah, yesterday.
And he's already going to, yeah, to your point, like to jump to AAA that next day. How many games does he get there? One, two? And he may be back next week.
So I think that's a little optimistic. I think
Okay.
I think we're looking at like June 1st to see him in Atlanta. We'll have to wait and see. I think they want to get him, obviously a couple games and then just see how his body responds to that workload, right?
Hmm.
Multiple nights out playing, putting that stress on the body and just seeing how you recover. But yeah, I think June 1st is probably a um, good point to expect to see him.
With the way Verdugo is playing, he wouldn't even have to come back full time for the Braves. I'm sure they want that. Like as soon as he's available, throw him back out there as many days as possible. But with him and Rosario and all the additions that AA made, some have hit, some have not.
Rosario's gone.
Is he gone already?
Oh yeah, he's been gone for at least a week now. He was DFA'd, so
Mm,
he's out of here. The interesting thing to note about the Ronnie situation, so there was that drama with him sending out a tweet about Jared Kelnick, watching what ended up not being a home run, but watching the ball and then getting thrown out at second on what should have been an easy double. And Ronnie basically said, if that was me, I would have been benched and this and that. And you know, Mr. Snicker said in his post game, when asked if he had said anything to Jared about the situation, his response was kind of like, "Well, was I supposed to?" And then he said that he didn't see the play and that when he watched it back, he saw like what the hoopla was about and then said something to Jared. Well, fast forward, Jared Kelnick is no longer with the Atlanta Braves. He is a Gwinnett Striper and has been
mm,
there. So now not only is Ronnie there, but he's going to be playing side by side the man that stirred, I guess, that drama and that
yeah.
controversy. Now, Ronnie did come out and say that he apologized to the team and to Brian Snicker about his comments and said that he was coming from a place of frustration because the team was struggling and he couldn't be out there to help them. So I hope that's
Right.
really where it is and that there's really no um, residual frustration or anger or resentment towards Brian Snicker because we need Ronnie at 100% MVP Ronnie if we want to achieve the goals that this team has.
Him coming back and being that player, I mean, it definitely propels us much higher than we would be without him. And we spoke on that, right? I wasn't mad at. I wish you would have kept it internally. I wasn't mad at the sentiment, but posting it was, come on, you gotta do better.
I
Because
d-
Snit didn't make it any better.
Snit did not make it better, and I understand where Ronnie's coming from, but I also think that if he was truly being reflective on his own circumstances and the situation at hand, he would see that it wasn't his like Ronnie didn't get benched on his first offense, right? He got benched
Mm,
after multiple offenses, and this was Jared's first offense. I could understand being a little bit more lenient, like just having that talk to in the dugout and like keeping it, private, and then saying, all right, on the second or third time you do it, like you're out of here. But Jared's not with the club, the big club anymore, right? Like he was sent down for his play and his lack of performance. So
mm.
it's not like he went completely unpunished, so to speak, for the entirety of his actions.
He's down there because he hasn't been playing good, not because he didn't run the bases.
But that is part of playing well, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
playing, it's everything. It's how you play in the field. It's how you run the bases. It's your attitude. It's your hustle. Like he's just all around missing the mark. Uh, so he got sent down.
Performance wise, though, he's missing it really bad. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I know we had another topic, but that reminded me of a conversation that I had. I told you I was down in New Orleans for Carlos's bachelor party, and I met one of his boys who now I consider a friend, V, and V is a Braves fan, and he changed my mind on something that I think you'd be pleasantly surprised
Mm.
about. Freddie Freeman. He was like, "Look, man, all said and done, they should have gave Freddie that money, and that we can't be mad at Freddie for taking the money because the Braves should have just been the one to pay him." And he's right. I think he's right. Just based on what we've seen out of Matt Olson, solid guy. Baseball. I don't know him as a person. He's not a very vocal person, but solid ball player for sure. He and that first year, right, the number of home runs he was hitting and how consistent, how what he was doing on the bag, he was playing great defense as well, stretching it out. He looked like he was going to be comparable to a Freddie. But then we watched Freddie in the World Series last year, man. And he's just no Freddie, and no disrespect to him. So I just want to throw that out there. Shout out to V. You changed my mind, man. They should have paid Freddie that money.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree. I like Matt Olson. He is a local kid. I think like I still want him to be very successful as a Brave.
Hundred
But
percent.
Freddie Freeman is a bona fide superstar, and I honestly I parallel him a lot to a guy like Trey, who
Mm,
just doesn't necessarily get that same level of recognition. I think in the last couple of years, especially since his MVP season and the World Series, like Freddie has been viewed by baseball as a star, but in no way is he viewed as a star on the level of a Mookie Betts or a Shohei Ohtani or a guy like Mike Trout, even, right? Like those guys are next level superstars. And in my mind, Freddie is that player, right? And he deserves that kind of recognition and that respect. But for whatever reason, uh, he's always just been viewed as kind of like a good player, all star. Like he's a bona fide Hall of Famer in my mind.
yeah, yeah. Hall of Famer, superstar. All of those are accurate. And also is accurate that the sentiment has not been that. I mean, you know where I'm going. Most of it has to have been that he played for the Braves, right? And we don't get national media love. The Braves get more than anyone, but anyone here. But that has to have had a factor. Because I would put him above Mike Trout. Those other two that you named, the fact that all three of them are on a baseball team together is nuts, first off. But I, I put him above Mike Trout. I think he's in that upper echelon, especially now because the World Series was very, very heavily watched, with it being that bi-coastal rivalry that everyone wanted to see. Everyone besides me and you. He's on the map now, right? Guaranteed Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, it's just wild that it's like 13 years into his career and he's been doing the same thing for his entire career, right? Like,
Yeah, Mr. Consistently balling though. Now we're
absolutely.
gonna hope that Big Drake and not the artist, uh, Drake Baldwin. I told you a statistic and you were like, yeah, I saw that he's leading the Braves in batting average. He hasn't had any as many bats, but Drake Baldwin looked like the real deal.
Absolutely. And I've seen a lot of chatter about should the Braves sell uh, Sean Murphy uh, before the trade deadline, and like I definitely think that's a viable option to try
Mm,
and improve this team because Drake, even though he's a rookie, he looks like he could be out there every night, and his bat has been invaluable. That's the one thing about Ronnie returning. Like I know he instantly makes his team better, but it's like who do you sacrifice? Because Verdugo has been a great spark at the beginning of this lineup. You're not gonna take out Money Mike, so it really leaves Eli White and Alex Verdugo in terms of the outfield as options, and then the other one is Marcelo Zuna. You could DH Ronnie, but Marcel's been Mr. Consistent over the last couple years,
yeah.
and Eli White and both Verdugo have been doing their thing. maybe Verdugo a little bit more than Eli White. Eli's been a great base runner and has really helped us out situationally and been a great defensive outfielder, which is something that Verdugo's not. He's not a superior defensive player.
Mm,
But he's been doing his thing at the beginning of the lineup, which is Ronnie's spot. So I think naturally the instinct is just to swap Ronnie with Verdugo, but I feel like we lose a little bit if we do that offensively. So I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma. It's a good one to have if you're Brian Snit.
good problem to have,
Yeah.
for sure. Feels like Eli White is the odd man out, and maybe you just don't have to trot Freddie or not Freddie, Ronnie out there every night.
I
You
don't
know,
think we
let them
will.
let them both still get some spin on the base path and in the outfield.
Yeah. I definitely, with his injury history, I'm not trotting him out there every single night. And if that means having to have him as like a DH and giving Marcel a night off, then I'm giving Marcel a night off, depending on who's hot, right? Like if Ronnie's hot
I
from the
mean,
plate,
his last injury was running the bases. I'm not even giving him the DH
yeah,
until we're a little closer to late August, early September. I keep him on ice. Let him play to warm up. It's gonna be hard because he's been wanting to get back. Obviously, he said in his apology, he's frustrated with not being able to play. But if he can be the player we need him to be 3 out of 4 games, I give him some time off until the playoffs, or until it really really and all these games matter, but until it's like really really matters.
yeah.
Maybe we're not afforded that ability, but we shall see. All right, man. That was a ton of driving. Um, let's talk about some birds, man. Hootie hoo. I gotta losing my voice a little bit. I can't hear hootie hoo right. Hootie hoo. That's the best I can do, man.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, you know you got to keep your eyes on the birds. Let's talk Hawks. Let's talk Falcons. This is Hootie Hoo.
Um, so they haven't I haven't seen it, at least the Falcons haven't done their official like schedule release. They had the
Dun-dun-dun,
Rube Goldberg.
dun-dun-dun.
Dang, did it drop while it's been
Yeah,
on?
it just dropped like within the last couple minutes at 8 o'clock. It's 8:13, so
Okay.
they did a Mario Kart theme, so it's
Mario Kart, huh?
yeah,
Last what'd you think of last year? That was NFL Blitz, right?
I think so. NFL Street.
Or Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this year they did a Mario Kart. It's kind of cool actually. So we may pop the link in the description so you can watch it yourself. But yeah, the schedule released all was it 16 games that they play now? 17?
Okay. Yeah, we had heard about the Berlin game, man. We making a trip across the pond. What's up?
Yeah, it's odd the way that the NFL kind of tries to market these games is you've been selected
Right. It's
to
a
play.
punishment. More you lose a bunch of hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I guess you can pick up some fans in Berlin.
Yeah,
For
there's
the
an
franchise, maybe it's a win. For the players, it's not.
I think it's a win for the NFL in their global market reach.
Oh well, yeah, for sure.
Um,
They're forcing it.
so there's talk, rumor that they may go to a schedule in which, and I think they'd have to have 18 games in order to make this happen. But every team would play overseas one game every year, and with that, they would release a like overseas broadcast subscription type deal where
Yeah,
they have their own broadcasting deals. You know, it's a
because
cash
you
cow.
can't. You still can't have a team over there. I don't think that's just too much travel.
Yeah, no, logistically, it never work to have a team over there. You know, they did have that NFL Europe um, league back when we were in high school, maybe even younger than that. That just didn't pan out. So I mean, they've been trying to figure out how to make uh, American football work in uh, in Europe for a while.
And it will, right? That's where the gladiatorial game started. Soccer or traditional football is exciting, but it's not like, and it is a contact sport, but it's not a violent sport.
Yeah,
Europe used to have they still do a little bit to me, a violent history. So makes sense that they would want a violent sport, especially now, right? They get games regularly, they see the clashes, so
yeah,
maybe it's time to bring that on back.
yeah. So here's a rundown of our schedule. We start out the year against the Lions at home in a night game. Looks like that's going to be the prime time. It's a Friday night at 7 p.m. at the Benz. Week
Mhm.
2, we're at home still against the Titans in another. Why are all these dates Fridays? Maybe the website is jacked up on their schedule. Oh,
I was
you know
gonna
what?
ask
Those
if
are
you had said
preseason.
Friday.
Those are preseason games. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So preseason Lions, Titans, and Cowboys. My bad. Week 1, 1 p.m. Sunday at home against the Bucks. Week 2, this is a primetime game in Minnesota against the Vikings. Uh,
Minnesota.
week 3, in Carolina. Week 4, we get the Commanders at home. Week 5, we must have a bye. Week 6, we got the Bills at home in a Monday night game.
Mm.
Week 7, we get the 49ers on the West Coast in the night game on NBC. So that's 2 primetime games back to back. Then week 8, we get the Dolphins at home on CBS. Week 9, we get the Patriots in Boston.
AFC East,
Yeah,
Dolphins, Patriots, Jets,
Bills.
and Bills. Yeah,
Um, Colts too, right? Because we're playing the Colts in Berlin week 10 at Olympia Stadion Berlin. Week 11 we got the Panthers at home. Week 12 we get the Saints in Stinky Town for the afternoon game. Week 13 Jets at MetLife. Week 14 the Seahawks at home. Week 15 we get the Thursday night prime game against the Bucks in Raymond James. Week 16 we get the afternoon game at State Farm Stadium in Arizona against the Cardinals. Week 17 on Monday night at home against the Rams. And then week 18 against the Saints to be determined.
that's we'll save it for another week, but that sounds like some tough sledding. If
For sure.
just thinking about the opponents.
To I find it interesting, right? Like 2 years ago, we didn't get a single primetime game, and this year we have it's I think four. I'm trying to
Yeah, we caught 3 last year with Kirk.
we
It
got
makes sense that we didn't have I mean, to have all 1 o'clock games 2 years ago was crazy. Like not even a four.
yeah.
Um, but they saw what we did the year prior. They knew who our quarterback was going to be, man. So it makes sense. Desmond Ritter's, I think he's out of league, and Marcus Mariota, he just got that Hawaiian swag to him. Everybody likes him. Stays with a job, but he's not a starter.
um so we got four primetime games and then the game in Berlin, which it is to what we said earlier, kind of a, a negative if you're a season ticket holder, like you lose a home game, and then if you're a player,
It's
there's
Indianapolis though. We keep ours.
okay, so we keep ours this year, but potentially you lose a home game, right?
Right.
And then if you're a player, there's the travel. So you lose the practice and the extra recovery time um, outside of the travel time. So you still get recovery, right? But normally, like you're seeing trainers and or doing your recovery routine when you're at home, or you travel late in the week, and for a game like going overseas to Berlin, you're going to travel a little earlier. Your routine's going to be off. So
I feel like they've incorporated the bye either before or after the international game in most cases, which works for the teams that are traveling over there. You still can't have a team in London playing 9 games in the States, right? That won't work.
in
But
our case, we have game on both ends.
really,
Yeah, so there is no break in between. I will say the Minnesota Vikings are playing 2 weeks back to back in Europe. I think they play in Ireland and maybe England in back to back
Ireland,
weeks.
have we played there before? I know we've done Munich and Berlin and London. I didn't know we've been to the Green Isles before.
The Falcons specifically, I don't think so.
No, the NFL. I
Um,
don't remember. I
I
know college, right? Like
Georgia Tech played Notre Dame last year to start the
last year.
year in
Yeah.
Dublin. So I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't keep track or pay too much attention to where we're playing. I know we've played in London and Mexico and in
You're only missing
Germany,
one that I'm aware of. Brazil.
Brazil.
They did Brazil for the first time last year.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's cool. Something we didn't talk about in our pre-show that is Falcons adjacent that I just want to talk about real quick because you talked about in Spaghetti Junction your trip to New Orleans, and we got
Hmm.
hit with some major news that impacts the South, the NFC South, and that was the retirement of Derek Carr. So now the Saints easily, without question, have the worst QB room in all of football. And if it remains the same today, or if it remains the same as it is today at the start of the league year or the start of the season, I imagine they will be the worst team in our division. What's your take?
Oh, absolutely. And I said that to a number of Saints fans when I was down there. So Harley Home always repping. Shout out to the real Drake, Drake Baldwin on the way. But I had my Falcons hat on down there. The first time that I wore it, like I pulled up, I arrived after everybody, right? And I have my hat on, and I'm walking up to this bar that they're in. It's off Bourbon, right? So it's a part of the city that I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm like, I'm good everywhere I go. The security, who I thought I mean, they looked like off-duty cops to me, right? They had the glizzies on them, right? He's like, "Oh man, you're gonna get in trouble in there in that hat." I said, "Oh word!" like I didn't show up to fight a bunch of Saints fans, right? So I get in there and this dude he presses me on the head like, "Oh, you gotta take that off. You gotta take that off." I'm like, "Man, I'm not trying to fight, bro. Like whatever." And then of course I'm with B like put your hat back on, man. Rep your city. So I put it back on. I'm trapped in this thing. Come to find out, this is one of the guys that Carlos is known for a long time. He pressed me and busted my balls for nothing. But because of that, I wore my Falcons hat. Really the not the rest of the time. That whole time and then the whole next day I had it on. And it definitely generated some conversation. There isn't I told somebody that I didn't think there was a bigger rivalry in sports than the way that they treated me just seeing my hat. Oh man, like they just shaking their heads like some of them, some of them more aggressive than that. But I was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna stand on it after Reggie pranked me, had me out there looking like a sucker." Um, what do you think about that?
Uh, I think
Biggest rivalry thing.
in
Let's
all of
say
sports,
excluding college football.
uh, I mean, I feel like there's some pretty heated rivalries in the NBA. There's some pretty heated rivalries in the NHL, but just in football alone, Man, I feel like the Cowboys and the Eagles,
Not a rivalry.
are the Cowboys and the
The Cowboys and
command.
Eagles. The
Well,
Cowboys would say it's a rivalry. Carlos would never call the Cowboys a rival just because they haven't won anything in so long, right?
that is true. Like that's always an argument, and like I get it, but it's not necessarily about wins and losses to me as much as it is like the disdain the fan bases have for one another and the players have for, the logo on the other side. But you got like the Commanders and the Cowboys. You got the Cowboys and the Eagles. You got the Eagles and the Giants. I think some of those are longer standing rivalries, right?
They are longer standing, yeah. But I don't think the passion is there, right? The Falcons and the Saints, we could both be in the middle of an 0-8 season. That game matters, right? It matters to both fan bases. It matters in both locations, and I don't think that's always the case for the NFC East. That's who you name for the most part. It's the
Yeah.
NFC East. They are longer standing,
The
right?
Packers and the
And
Bears.
uh, Bears have been trash for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, but like every chance that those franchises get to troll each other, they do. There were even comments at the draft, which was in Green Bay, where they were taking shots at each other.
I caught 28-3 several times in the streets of New Orleans. There's no missed opportunity. And when I see Saints fans, I'm not as I give them smoke. Let's just say that. All Saints fans get smoked, and it's up forever.
Yeah.
There won't be a quit to it. Like you'll never see me rocking Saints gear
I
ever.
I definitely think like your feelings are valid, right? Like I think there's a legitimate argument that could be made that the Saints Falcons is probably one of the most today like relevant now rivalries of
Yeah.
sports. I think there's some valid arguments there without giving it a lot of like extra thought and like doing some research because I think that's what it would take to counter the
Mm,
argument. Um, but yeah, like my initial thought is just like it's up there, but I don't know if I would put it at the top. Right?
yeah. That's fair. I had to. I give you an op to do some research. I'm gonna circle back to that question. What else? What else? Oh, did you have more Falcon stuff?
No,
It's been a couple weeks now. I want to give Dyson Daniels some love. They played him a little bit on Defensive Player of the Year, um, but he did get Most Improved. Defensive Player of the Year is a higher caliber award to me, so that would have been the one that I preferred. But I think Most Improved Player is almost MVP. MIP is a valiant effort, and at least they gave him some recognition. So shout out to the Great Barrier Thief winning that award, man. That was good.
yeah, you're just missing a slanted line, and
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah, not even missing like the full letter, right? Just one one line and it's done.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure they played
yeah,
that man though. He deserved that defensive player of the year on all accounts, but as you like to remind us all, the national media hates Atlanta. So
I do.
they had to swallow their pride and at least give him an award, but not
So I'm give him something. It's not the one, right?
right. But yeah, shout out that
Uh,
man.
yeah.
He's been a great addition to the Hawks.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I hope he's here for years to come.
And honestly, like he deserved both awards, right? Like I'm not saying that he deserved the defensive player of the year and not the most improved because I do think that he was the most improved player year
Yeah,
over year, but he also deserved the defensive player of the year.
100%. You know who else deserves a little more credit now is Landry Fields. Not only did he bring over the most improved player, he did not give up the first round picks for DJ Murray. He did get two of them, two of the three back. We'll have those first round picks this year. One of them is in the lottery.
Which one? Because 14 belongs to the Spurs.
13. We drafted for them.
Well, 14 was us,
Right.
but the
Leveled
Spurs
up,
the
you know?
Spurs get it from the DJ trade. So
Yeah, they do. And that's what I'm saying. He didn't orchestrate that. He had no hand in that. And he ended up getting us a better pick than the Spurs got from us. So, and then we get the Lakers first round. They were a playoff team, so it's not lottery. I think that was 22. It's got 13 and 22. And that was him. I don't know that he drafted. Did he draft Jalen Johnson? I don't think he might have drafted Jalen. I don't know, but I give him Dyson Daniel and those 2 first-round picks. It's just weird that he, after orchestrating that he got fired.
yeah, I mean, we'll never know what they're doing behind closed doors. Um, the interesting thing is the names that they've brought up as potential replacements for the guy that they promoted into Landry's job as GM.
Onside, I think.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'll find his name.
But yeah, like one of them being Danny Ferry, who he kind of has an infamous history in
Yeah.
this organization, which all of that took place before the current ownership. So the current regime has no ties to Danny Ferry as a
Or Luau Dang.
um
Say that boy Luau had some African in him. That was wild. He deserved to get fired. Maybe Landry had a little moment like that, man. He said, like some European got some goat. I don't know what it's an offensive animal to white people.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so just interesting. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say that other than
So sliding on that. His name is Onside Saleh.
yeah.
I don't see Saleh.
So,
Current GM. Yep.
but yeah, again, kind of Hawks adjacent, right? Because we play in the NBA, and so does this other team. uh,
Close enough.
but that you mentioned the draft, the lottery took place this week, and or Sunday was it? Sunday or Saturday? This weekend? Maybe it was Monday night. All the days run together. At this point in life, but the Mavericks awarded the number one overall pick, sparking a
Yep.
lot of discussion about uh, is the NBA draft lottery rigged? I think it is without question. Um, it is just too coincidental that the team with 1.8% chance of getting the number one overall pick manages to get the number one overall pick after trading away their superstar and receiving all this negative attention. Um, that just coincidences don't tend to happen that way.
I would ask you though, what did we do wrong? What did the Hawks do besides being hated by the national media that we got the number one pick when there wasn't even a consensus number one pick, right?
That was exactly what we did. We were the Atlanta Hawks, and there wasn't a consensus number one pick. So they said, what better year to,
Give it to the Hawks.
yeah, maybe we'll restore a little bit of faith in the system by giving it to the Hawks, and it will look like, but
Yeah.
now they were preemptively doing it to get away with this year's shenanigans.
Yeah. Nico gonna trade it away. It don't matter.
No, they said
he
he said,
literally had. Yeah, he already said he was gonna draft him. But if he did that, man, he had to leave the state at least. I'm
yeah,
sure he'd be welcome in LA, but
there's some tin hat theories out there now that even go as far to say that the NBA colluded with both the Lakers and the Mavericks to push that trade.
mm,
I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Do I think that's what happened? No. But if, 5-10 years from now someone came out and like was able to prove that that's really what happened, I'd be like, oh yeah, sounds about right. They push Luca onto, one of the biggest market teams with one of the biggest market names um, for a league that's sliding in ratings.
I can see it. Yeah. I mean, look, we're gonna give you gotta give Luke up and it's gotta be the LA or the Knicks. The Knicks are good. We don't need them to go there. Let's go LA and we're gonna get you the first round pick next year. Don't worry about it. But
Yeah.
you gotta do it. Nico, you're gonna have to eat some trash. They're gonna trash you. You're gonna have to get some death threats, but you're gonna get Cooper Flag.
And
All right,
all will
deal.
be forgiven.
And all will be forgiven.
Yeah.
Because him with Anthony Davis and Kyrie, I mean, that's nice. Derek Lively.
Yeah.
We'll see how it shakes out. Now, from a viewer perspective, I think that the NBA is on the come up, my brother, because the playoffs have been very good. I watched the game last night, the Denver and OKC game, and that's been one of very. This has been the best viewing for me. This has been the best playoffs to watch that I can remember since forever, man.
I mean, I kind of disagree with you in some regards. Do I think that these playoffs are very, very entertaining? I think they have. I think that Rockets, um, Golden State series was excellent TV. I think the Lakers and Timberwolves series was great. The Nuggets and the Thunder have been a great series. But I think beyond that, they lose a little bit of luster because of the injuries and with Steph Curry going down, like I think Golden State's just so far behind in terms of what they're putting out on the court to compete. The injuries to the Cavs hurt them significantly, and now Jason Tatum, tearing his Achilles is
It's a
completely
damper.
derailed that series as well.
But that series has been great, right? Even when he injured it, he had dropped 40 plus. Brunson burner, Jalen Brunson had been going off. And in that series, they had two comebacks from down 20 with amazing closes to those games. Um, the Cavs being the number one seed to be thumped like they did by the Pacers. Now, I didn't watch many of those games, but one of the games I watched included a Tyler Halliburton getting his own rebound off of a free throw and going and hitting a game winning shot and then running down the court with the big the big balls, the big ball celebration, man. That was great basketball. It was theater. The losing those players matters, right? But I think Boston was going to lose regardless of whether Tatum was playing. Speedy recovery to that guy. Doesn't take away of how good the series is. The one you didn't mention is the Detroit and Knicks series was very good. They were playing some physical basketball. It wasn't the street fight that the Rockets and Golden State was. That was literally a street fight, which was good TV as well. So,
I haven't watched a single Knicks game this
oh
entire
yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, they won back-to-back games after being down 20 with defensive plays. Right, like we're up one, and it was the same guy, the guy that got from Brooklyn, Mikal Bridges, the old Villanova vet. He had a steal in one game, a block in the other.
Yeah.
Um, I actually think that they're closer to it. If there is a front runner for me now, it's probably them.
The Knicks,
Mhm.
yeah, I hate to see it. I really hate to see it. I like
Well,
I
they're
enjoy the
gonna
Knicks
they're gonna
demise.
bing bong us to death, man.
They're gonna burn the city down. There won't be a New York if they win the championship.
New York got more cops than people. That won't be an issue there. but but I was on that trip in New Orleans with a couple New Yorkers, St. John and Jamel. They both were rooting for those teams. And me not having a dog in the fight, I just want to see some good basketball. So we watched a couple of games on Bourbon, bless you. Um, yeah, no, they're exciting to watch. Jalen Brunson is that guy. He's very, very good at basketball, especially in the fourth quarter. Him winning the Clutch Award, I don't know. It's a newer one. I think it's like a second year award, but or second year being in rotation. Man, he deserved that thing.
Yeah.
He goes crazy in the fourth quarter.
Oh well, tired of talking about the Knicks.
Yeah, yes. I hate to say it, man. You know, I had to talk about him a little bit more. They haven't been on the other side of a beating since Trey Young put the dagger in that heart and took that bow, man. So gotta get my man some help. Need to assemble some Avengers down here in Atlanta, and we can talk about the Hawks more. But right now, it's the Knicks world. Them and Ant Man, Ant Man, Batman, Superman, Lakers in five.
Going home at 5.
Yeah, that was great that he did that. Man, we actually talked a good bit. Um, did you want to close out with a little elevators?
Yes, sir.
From the parking garage to the penthouse, no one takes you on more highs and lows than Atlanta sports. Let's me, you, your mama, and your cousin too get on this elevator. Don't touch the button. We got you locked in.
So the week's highs and lows. We'll say the last 2 weeks. Right? What you got?
So for me, my high has got to be the Braves getting back to 500. Right, like that's a
Mm.
big accomplishment. I think they're up right now on the Washington Nationals. Um, yeah, they're up 2-1 in the fifth, so they're taking care of business. Hopefully, we go above 500 after tonight and just keep that ball rolling. Uh, they had a huge hole to dig themselves out of, but to see what they've done and to think about what they've accomplished with the cards that they were dealt, right? Like losing Ronaldo Lopez at the beginning of the year, having Spencer Strider not be there, show up and then instantly hit the IL again, not having Ronnie to start the year. Like those are three incredibly important pieces to this team.
One more. That was a huge blow. Like we gave that man all that cash.
Oh, and
Jerickson
Jerickson
Profar,
Profar, you're
right?
yeah, you know, he doesn't exist to me anymore at
Just
this
gone
point.
like a
Like,
ghost.
yeah, like don't come back. Like, thank you, but no thank you. So despite all those, obstacles, all that adversity, this team is still fighting, still finding a way to get some results, and let's just hope it propels them to the playoffs.
Gotcha. Yeah. Nah, I'm becoming more optimistic. So I'm starting to be MB leaning. My high at the top floor was just Bijan Robinson overall. I do think he is going to, if things work out, he'll be in the MVP race this year. Um, call you heard it here first. He was on an episode of Cold as Balls with Kevin Hart, another podcast. If he gives us a shout out, it would be nice. But I'll give him one. Kevin Hart sits down with athletes in an ice bath and he just talks to them. Number one, Bijan is just a real charismatic dude. I don't think we've had a public figure in Atlanta in many moons that was just like cool to listen to. Everybody's either quiet or I like Trey a lot, but he gets a bunch of vitriol from from the rest of the world. I don't think that Bijan is gonna get that. He's just a real charismatic, calm, young fella. Um, and he's an absolute baller. So he was on there, and he's the second Atlanta guest behind 2 years ago when we signed Kirk Cousins. So he talked to Kirk. Kevin Hart talked to Kirk 2 years ago during the signing, and that was the last Atlanta athlete. So it made sense for Bijan because I've been seeing him more and more on stuff. Like the man's an actor, he's a DJ. and he's top three running back in the league. That's something that they talked about. Kevin Hart said that Bijan is top. He said top five, top three, but he meant top three. Bijan said, humbly, I'm top one, but I'll take top three, top five. That's my high. I think we have an absolute stud at running back, and I cannot wait to see what he does this year, especially considering he's gonna have a new quarterback. Um, Not a whole lot of new weapons, but Bijan is gonna go this year. You can mark my words right now.
All right, man. Marking it down. Uh, not a not a sponsorship plug, but if you're into the whole gambling thing, not financial advice, but Mr. Alexander says MVP, Bijan Robinson, book it now, get it while the odds are hot. Make
We
yourself a
go as far as Bijan takes us, and he sells a mustard. I'm gonna plug his mustard just because he's becoming one of my favorite players. Bijan Mustardson, go get the mustard. They tasted it on the podcast. Seemed like they liked it. So
yeah. That was the name of my fantasy team last year, the Bijan
yeah,
Mustards.
I
Uh,
saw that in the. I'm not in that league anymore, but I talked to a bunch of the fellas still, obviously. So I saw that name. Yeah,
but yeah, no. Hopefully, Bijan has another breakout year. I mean, it's hard to say breakout when you've already done it. But if he has the year you're talking about, then this team's gonna go far.
100%, 100%. And then I don't know if you had a low. I had a low. It's Atlanta United. I'm going to the game Saturday. Maybe my presence will get them to turn it around, man. But losing all your games without scoring in April, because it's you taught me that your goals scored are a very important deal. And then May they had a draw and then a loss, but they scored two goals in the month of May, so that's better than they did all of April. So I'm hoping they turn it around with my presence at the game on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the basement right now, though.
They play tonight. They kick off in I think 15 minutes against Austin City FC.
Mm,
Um, I think they must be in Austin, right? Because they're a couple hours or an hour behind. Because it'd be a
gotcha.
late kick for 9 o'clock here local
Hmm.
time. But no, like my low, I joked with you before the pod was my first listen through
Oh, I do remember.
the
Okay.
7 piano sketches by Andre. Um, I mean, I get it. Like it's artistic. It's kind of like stream of consciousness. But Andre is such a gifted musician, right? Like he can play classical piano, and like I guess I went into it with the mindset that I was gonna get, just enlightened. It,
Yeah, the
it's
Beethoven album.
so Bennett had his piano recital for the year Monday, and I think it was on the way home. I let the wifey listen to it, and she was like, "I can do this on the piano." Like it
Mm,
is very similar in a way to his flute album, where you can tell he's just playing, right? Like he's
it's
just
full improvisation. Yeah.
yeah, it's full improv. He's just playing around, trying to get a feel for the instrument, and when you do that, you don't necessarily make uh, real well put together melodic sounds, right? Like sometimes it's kind of disheveled. Uh,
Chaotic. Yeah.
yeah, and maybe that's what he was going for, right? There's kind of a theme to the album. I don't resonate with it. Um, but yeah, so I was a little disappointed. I saw he made some music. I got real excited. I turned it on and my ears bled a little bit.
Mm. New Blue Sun actually was nominated for 3 Grammys.
So crazy.
So maybe this one, what is it called again? Seven, say it
Seven
again,
seven piano sketches.
seven piano sketches. So I will say the New Blue Sun, my sister, she took me to, and I think we probably talked about this before. My sister took me to the New Blue Sun show at the Fox. And it was actually off the chain, right? Like but it when he was talking about it, he was like, yeah, it was improvisation. It's not like he played songs off of New Blue Sun. It was just further improvisation of what he can do with the flute. And he incorporated like some spoken word from Big Rube. It was tight. That was a really dope concert. So maybe something similar is coming for the piano album. I'd be super excited about that, but maybe not
Um, I
check the album out.
imagine, I imagine in the right frame of mind, with the right vibe, like it could,
Hmm.
it could be all right. It was just, I don't know, maybe I went into it the wrong expectations, right? Like I know Andre can play like classical piano, right?
Yeah,
And so I was expecting to hear that like artistry, and it's a different type of art that I I I don't I don't fully understand. Um, but Andre's a
yeah.
different dude, man, and
He a
he
different kind of cat, bro.
he has made history in hip hop, and he's made like musical genius level status for the works of art that he has put together earlier in his career. So I think, my expectations from him might be a little jaded, too high.
I knew that one of the nominations he had was for best jazz album for New Blue Sun. He was nominated for album of the year, which I did not realize. So there's a lot of people who do have a little more respect than say you and I do for that art form, and it is probably that jaded aspect. Like I like him as an actor, right? But I wanna hear him put them words together. He just says such a fantastic rapper. So
I mean, even as a musician, though, like on some of those Outcast albums, like
yeah, yeah, no, he did his thing. Yeah.
with the electric guitar on the piano, like everywhere, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, like I said, it was. If I had to pick a low, that was my low for the week. Just didn't meet my personal expectations or desires. Because I want some new Outcast music, man.
Yeah, we are the Players Ball podcast. Of course we do, right? We want as much outcast as we can get.
We are
And I'm
AT
gonna still
aliens.
say, go listen to the piano album.
Yeah, for sure. Listen
Yeah.
to it and form your own opinions, right? Like I am by no means a musical expert. Uh,
I want y'all to comment in the YouTube or in our episode of thoughts on Andre's piano album and New Blue Sun. It ain't always got to be sports, so come to us with whatever.
the show.
Yeah. All right, man. There you have it. Another one in the books.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, I guess, since the last one, but we appreciate y'all sticking around, sticking with us, and joining us on another episode. We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch y'all on the flip, man.
Peace.
Peace.